Greetings people, it's Jared here, Wolfgang 1, back to do another Transformers review. So, part 3 in this series of 6 looking at the Generation 1 Protectobots. We're going to be looking today at Streetwise. Now, I was a little bit too minded about how to do the next series. Was it going to be Streetwise or was it going to be First Aid? But I wanted to get this one out of the way because he's fucking weird, okay? And the only way I'm going to be able to properly show you how weird he is by actually doing the review. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to press straight on into this with Generation 1 Streetwise. Okay, so here's Streetwise in his all mode. He transforms into a 1983 Nissan 300ZX Turbo police car. So I guess at this stage, the toy designers were thinking, how do we homage G1 Prowl but make him shit? And this is the answer, ladies and gentlemen. Tiny little version with a simplified transformation. I say shit. He's probably not as bad as I'm making him out to be, but I've always found the team member limb members to be woefully lacking. And you know, despite the silver stickers on his doors and whatever like that, it just sort of basically it doesn't help. It doesn't help. The sticker placement doesn't help the fact that what you've got there is a fundamentally underwhelming toy. So let's have a look at some of the things that Streetwise came with. So he comes with one tiny little handheld gun, just like that, and one double barrel blaster thing for his attack mode, which I will show right now. Stick this in the back of the car, just like that, and what you've got is something very, very akin to the G1 Stunticons there, which isn't brilliant at all. Try as you might, and obviously the gun does spin around and it does like a full 360. It does that, but I mean, apart from that, it looks awkward. It detracts from the aesthetic of the toy, if you can imagine if there was one to begin with. It's sort of what would normally be like almost like a streamlined sort of like aerodynamic shape is massively let down by this dual cannon thing on the back. So yeah, so let's take that out. Now this doesn't impact his robot mode whatsoever, like Blades and Grooves does. So that's about as useful as it gets. So yeah, so we've got G1 Streetwise just here. He rolls very nicely on his little plastic wheels. Again, the stickers for him were the doors and the windows just here on both sides. That was about it. Nothing on the underside for him. Now, interestingly enough, Streetwise's connector for combine mode is not his head. Instead, it's this section just here, which you think would be his head, but it isn't. So there's like sort of a play on expectations there. You think you're going to get one thing and you get something else. That's kind of cool, but I don't think it's over enough to save the figure. Again, he's about the same size in alt mode as he is with Groove, which obviously is wrong. But I think he probably scales quite nicely with Hotspot, but that's about it, really. Again, a very, very unique transformation to this figure in particular. This transformation doesn't follow the transformation for any of the Stunticons, which you think it probably would share some engineering in some small sense. It doesn't at all. So that, I guess, is also points in its favour. A unique transformation to this mould alone. So speaking of the transformation, let's get right to that, because there's not really a lot to say about this. It's a scaled down Nissan Z whatever, and doesn't quite hit the mark due to it being a scaled down version of that car. So yeah, so we're going to transform it. Let's get his weapons out of the way. Right, so start by taking this panel just here and disconnecting it from the front and then bringing it up like this. Okay, then we want to take the back of the car, we want to pull that out like this, and then this entire section here is going to come forward, and then we want to disconnect these two sections where the wheels are and where the doors are. We want to take those out to the sides like this, and then we stand them up. Again, a simple transformation. It is a simple transformation. However, and quite an awkward looking robot mode as a result of that, actually. So nothing going on at the back there. There's no discernible detail at all. You'd have thought that the hood of the car would have somehow formed the back of the vehicle. But as I said, the transformation goes off on a bit of a tangent there, and gives you something that you're not necessarily expecting. The face sculpt, I've got to be honest with you, isn't too bad. They haven't painted the whole thing in one block colour, therefore you've got a little bit of discernible detail in the mouth and the eyes and everything like that. Nice crest on his forehead and everything like that. But that's Streetwise. So what we're going to do is we're going to give him his little gun in his hand, and because he's actually got something akin to hands, unlike the other two fuckers, he can hold it in either weapon, in either side, and not look too weird. Arms will go around a full 360, and that's about it. Because this section here forms his abdomen, sometimes if that hinge is very, very loose, it'll end up sitting in very, very awkward positions like that. I'm not exactly sure what the correct version is, but according to the Mark Blomer's guide, it's supposed to sit like that. Yeah, whatever, let's do it like that. He's okay. Again, he's a limb team member, so he's not going to be knocking it out of the park and every fucking given opportunity, is he? It is what it is, and it's let down by the limitations of the technology used to design him, toy design. So a unique transformation to this figure alone, but the end result is not brilliant. It's not as bad as the previous two offerings. Maybe it would have been nice to see, once you've flipped this section around for the legs, if you could have just separated them, even if there was a bar on them in the middle or something like that, if you could have just separated the legs a little bit, that might have gone a long way to making him look better. But yeah, that's Streetwise as he stands. So yeah, so he will end up forming a leg for Defensor when the time comes. So do check back in a few weeks for that review. But that, as he stands at the moment, that is Generation 1 Streetwise. So thank you for watching this review. This is Gerald Gavin Barry, also known as Wolfgang 1, saying I'll be back next week with Generation 1 First Aid. Yeah, that's right, he's fallen over. Not a massive else to say about him. He's a bit weird. I'll tell you what, actually, one thing I will say, I'll tell you what makes him look really weird is the fact that you can't extend the legs, right, like I just suggested, but you can extend the arms out, which gives him this really weird shoulder thing going on. If you'd been able to separate the legs out just a little bit, it might have offset this a bit, so it wouldn't look quite so weird and clunky on the top, and like sort of not corresponding down the bottom, if you see what I mean. So yeah, so anyway, that's just my thoughts. Thank you for watching this review. I'll be back next week. Until we see each other again, take care.